Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? I sure hope you can. Um, Being I can't record it, I guess I'm going to let you listen to it. Um, there's a reason why we are dark is because this is the way I've got to record it. Okay, so this is from me to you. Maybe help you out on what they got had to say. I know you won't believe half the stuff they got to say and all that good stuff. And then maybe again, you've already heard it, but I don't know because I'm not there. But I thought I would try and do you something nice. I don't know, keep you updated or something like that, or just kill time. Who knows? But I tried to get it recorded where you could see, but it ain't gonna tape because it stalls and jams and all that good stuff. So this is why we are in the dark. Okay. So let me flip it over and let you hear what's going on. Okay. And we'll go from there. So give it a minute and this is the PG&E Newser. Okay. And they're supposed to have a little get together here about what they're doing, how they're doing, what's going on, and all this good stuff. Remember, I told you they're going to be doing a whole lot of changes. So, you know, uh, like you said, there it is right there.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being patient. I'm Keith Stevens. I'm the PIO, Public Information Officer for this PSPS event. PG's Chief Communications Officer. Again, thanks for being here tonight. I want to acknowledge our ASL interpreters, Jennifer and Nikki, who are here. And especially want to give thanks for Nikki. She's actually a resident of Sonoma County, so we wish them welcome and thanks for their service. Tonight, we hope to be fairly brief. We're getting toward the end of restoration here. We've truncated our lineup a little bit tonight since weather is no longer the main story. We're going to have two updates, one from Mark Quinlan, our incident commander overall for the last two PSPS events. And then we're going to have some final closing comments from Bill Johnson, our president and CEO of PG Corporation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mark. But before I do, just one quick reminder. I know a lot of residents have returned home. They now have electricity in their homes. Their refrigerators and freezers may have refrozen and come back up to a temperature where their food we're not spoiled with the likelihood that food is spoiled. So we just really encourage you to go to a number of different websites. We are going to share something on Twitter, but highly advise people to dispose of all food in their refrigerators, anything that's perishable. We don't want anybody getting ill, especially those people that might be traveling, especially in Sonoma County, not here for the outage and would have returned home. So we just want to make sure to underscore the safety aspect of that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mark to get us started.
Thank you, Keith. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Quinlan. I'm the incident commander for the Public Safety Power Shutoff event from October 26th and 29th. And I'm here to provide everyone with an operational report. Before getting into the operational specifics, just wanted to provide a quick update on the weather. We've been in contact with our meteorology team and have looked forward into the next 7 days. And we do not anticipate any public safety power shutoff events. Actually, we're going to receive some sunny weather with general light winds. There's some potential for some gusty winds across Kern County and the far south end of our service territory. So that is very, very good news. We are going to keep the Emergency Operations Center open into this evening. And we'll be monitoring restoration efforts and the work that we're doing out at the Kincaid fire site as well. We will eventually deactivate and transfer command off to the incident commander representing PG&E out at the Kincaid Fire ICP. So for restoration update, we have had a good day. 34 counties impacted at one point or another from Saturday the 26th all the way into the 29th. From public safety power shutoff have been 100% restored. Our crews are focused on safety inspections and performing restoration activity day in the counties that remain. We began the morning with approximately 40,000 customers out of service that were still related to one of the two PSPS events. And we've worked that number down all day as of 5 p.m. right before this briefing. We have approximately 6,700 customers that remain without service, and we are still in the process of performing patrols and restoration. Our expectation is that we will be able to return service to everyone who can receive it by the end of the day today. There are some minor exceptions to that. The first one being the Kincaid fire footprint and the area of our infrastructure that is within the footprint or adjacent to it. Those folks will remain out of service until we have authorization to get in there and start removing or repairing our equipment under the direction of CAL FIRE. The other exception is any repairs that we need to perform on system based on the inspection results. I'll get into some inspection numbers in a moment, but we're still finishing out our patrols, and there's the potential that we can find some areas that might have small local damage. If we do find that damage, we'll be looking to create a zone of protection and a clearance around that area of damage, and we'll be reducing the size of the outage to a very small section, and we'll be restoring electricity to the unaffected areas of the system if we find that damage. In terms of inspections and results, and these numbers are preliminary, and we expect them to grow over time. You can see on the slide behind me, we've processed a number of these all day. We have 156 confirmed instances of damage, and damage, is widespread, ranging from broken poles and wires down, trees into our lines, trees tangled in our wires, debris in our wires, and we've been able to remove that to make repairs all day. There's also 241 instances that are in the process of being reviewed. That would be on top of the 156 that have already been confirmed. And as mentioned, the numbers expected to rise, not only related to the patrols that we're performing this evening, but just the processing time as crews are turning in their paperwork and that data is getting back into our centers and back into the Emergency Operations Center. And we'll be following up with the total number of damage cases that we find in our 10-day report that's due to the commission. I'll make the point again, as I did last night, that all of these potential hazards or these real hazards that we're finding could have been potential fire ignitions. And that's important to understand, and really is the foundation of why we have a PSPS program in the first place. If you can imagine, every one of these contacts to our lines results in some form of an arc flash event. And when that happens, there's an increased probability that a fire ignition could start due to the sparks and things that happen with that flash event. And if that happens while we're in a high wind condition with some of the winds that we've seen, which were quite substantial, an ignition starting in those types of winds is very, very difficult to control. And then, we're in a bad spot. So that's why we have that bias towards safety, and that's why we have this program. I want to transition to CRCs. So the community resource centers, we had 70 locations open at the peak of the event. We're down to 16, and we are in the process of closing these as we restore service. That is not a decision that PG&E makes independently. We are engaged with the counties. We have a deliberate discussion with the counties when we're nearing 100% restoration in the county, and we ensure that the county is in agreement that it's okay to shut down the site. We don't want to just tie that automatically to restoration, because there may be other needs that the counties have for other concerns and challenges that exist. So we're working with the counties, have not had any requests to keep centers open. Just wanted to signal to everyone that this is not a PG&E decision independently. It's a joint decision with our agency partners.
All right, come on. Come on. Hang on a minute. It done stalled on me for a minute. It'll kick back here in a minute.
These counties did, I'm sorry,
Ah,
the CRCs did include some amenities, including water, ice, blankets, things of that nature, food. And what we're doing with those supplies.
oh shit. Hang on.
Based organizations, churches, and things like that would be interested in receiving that donation from us so that they can distribute it to those who may be in need. So that's been a nice ramp down this afternoon. Transitioning to the gas system, this is a Kincade fire related gas event. We had roughly 24,600 customers that had their gas turned off as a result of the Kincade fire. Most of these areas were within the evacuation zone. We have had over 550 gas service reps and mutual assistance crews that we've brought in from other areas to help us performing relights and restoring gas service to our customers. And we've already been able to restore 3,000 gas services at this time at the beginning of the conference. There have also been approximately 1,000 homes where we have not been able to get in or make contact with customers. And I mention that because A, it's a big number. B, I just want to remind our gas customers in Sonoma of two very important things. Number one, do not attempt to relight your own pilot. Don't do that. Please call us. Call us at 1-800-743-5000 if you need to make an appointment with us. Do not attempt to relight your own gas pilot. Our gas people need to do some testing, need to do some pressure testing within your home and be there to do that pilot light for you. So I just wanted to reinforce that. That could be a safety hazard, and we don't want that to happen. So with that, I just wanted to recognize again that we are very in tune and understand the inconveniences associated with power interruptions, and we're impacted by this as well. And as are our friends or families, but we've been working real hard to get you back in lights, and we anticipate that being complete this evening. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our President and Chief Executive Officer of Pacific Gas and Electric Corporation, Bill Johnson.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening, everyone. I come before you tonight as a grateful person. Grateful to be at the tail end of a string of dangerous October wind events and the tail end of the power shutoffs we've done for safety during those events. I'm also grateful for some other things. First responders who are out there battling the wildfires across the state. I have great respect for those folks. For our customers and communities, for their patience and understanding as we've had these long shutoffs. For our state, county, and local tribal agency partners who worked alongside us for much of the month. And for all of our employees, contractors, mutual aid partners, and others who worked so hard and so safely to get power restored quickly. So thanks to all of them. As you know, shutoffs of this magnitude are unusual in California and frankly anywhere in the world. Other California utilities are using the shutoffs, but nobody has as much territory as us or as much territory in fire threat districts. And these events have not been entirely popular. No one likes them, including the 20,000+ people that work at PG&E, but we've done them for one reason, and that is to prevent the devastating loss of life and widespread property damage we've seen in recent years where sparks from electric equipment turn into catastrophic wildfires. We've done this for public safety.
Yeah, okay.
As
Tell me
Mark
another
said,
one.
we've seen many things that could have caused catastrophic fire if we had not de-energized. Had 120 instances of damage in the October 9th non-fire, large-scale shutoff. October 26th and 29th, we found at least 150 instances. That number continues to grow as we do our review process. And given the speed of the wind and the climatic conditions, any one of these could have turned into a catastrophic event, but none of them did. So are shutoffs a perfect solution or a cure-all for wildfire? No. In fact, it's hard to think of any one action by any one entity that can solve the wildfire risk California
Come on. All right, what's the problem here?
faces. But a few points to consider. We will continue to improve our practices and procedures around public safety power shutoffs. We never actually want to turn off the power, but when we do, we want it to do it with precision. We want it to be as minimally disruptive as possible. And we want to keep communities and customers informed at all times. We've gotten better doing them, and a lot better over the course of the past month, but we know we can get better, and we'll be focused on that as early as tomorrow. Another point is that power shutoffs are just one part of our overall work to reduce the risk of fires from electrical equipment. These other efforts include enhanced vegetation management around our lines, system hardening such as covered lines, targeted undergrounding in certain places, as well as additional weather stations and cameras in high-risk areas to help with situational awareness. In addition to these efforts, we stand ready and willing to be a collaborative partner in combating wildfire. Addressing the risk effectively and quickly is going to require all of us in California working together in constructive ways. This is a statewide problem when it comes to climate. No region appears to be immune. So California has accomplished a lot of hard things in its history. Building the energy infrastructure was one of those. Leading the way on clean energy has been another. So let's now work together to be sure that infrastructure continues to support the life we all want to live here. Thank you, and we'll be glad to take your questions.
So just as a reminder, we have microphones because we do have people dialed in from around the state. So we're happy to take questions.
Hello.
We'll start in the back and we'll come to Dan.
Sure. Taylor Bizzacki with Crown 4. Obviously, you guys are aware, we all are, that many people are frustrated, many customers are frustrated about these shutoffs.
Yep.
How would you just respond, or what would you say to those customers that, you know, we've seen that PG&E is under investigation for at least 5 Bay Area fires over this past week. Contra Costa fire officials said that PG&E's equipment was the cause of the Bethel Island and Oakley fires. We also know that PG&E is under investigation for 2 Lafayette fires and also, of course, the Kincaid fire. So how would you respond to these customers that are frustrated that we're still seeing these fires despite the shutoffs?
Yep. Good
You
question.
know, we've shown here damage of over 300 instances of things that could have caused fires and major fires. And you saw the pictures behind Mark as he was talking. Trees in lines, lines down, debris in lines, all of which can cause catastrophic wildfire. So in a wind event like we had that may have caused some of those fires you referenced, and I haven't seen the reports that really allocated that yet, you could have a fire in any instance. And so I think what we've done is we have mitigated and avoided numerous things that could have been catastrophic fire.
Yeah, okay. Tell me another one.
Just a couple of questions. You want me to hold this one? If we just, now that the crisis is slowing down somewhat, I'd like just to take a step back and look at a root cause. You've said that climate change played a major role in making these blackouts necessary. But can you admit that it was also a lack of maintenance
Yep.
and a failure to upgrade the system properly?
You know, we spent a good part of the year prior to fire season, inspecting, repairing, and hardening our system.
But you ain't buried no line.
Fire threat tier 2 and tier 3 districts. We looked at everything. We fixed everything on a priority basis needed fixing. We have a very aggressive vegetation management, well beyond the
Come on.
regulatory requirements. And I really don't think the items you've mentioned are causing these PSPS events. I think it's a climate. If you were here yesterday, you saw how the wind speeds have increased over the years, the number of dead trees, the amount of fuel on the ground, the humidity.
Well,
I think that's
like Trump said,
The arguments being
cut
made
'em
by
up.
lawmakers and others that you
Clean up your
diverted
forest.
money meant for maintenance in the shareholder profits. I mean, that's the line that's being used again and again and again for years and years. Is that accurate in your mind that happened?
So as I've said, I got here May the 2nd. I really haven't gone backwards and looked at that. When I get a free moment here after fire season, I'm going to study up on that question. But at the moment, I don't have a view on that. I hear it. All I know is that since I've been here, we've been inspecting, we've been repairing, and we have been preventing catastrophic wildfires.
The other big picture question is now moving forward. You talked about how you have basically a 10-year time frame where a lot of work has to be done to make these blackouts not necessary. Widespread reaction was, that's too long. What can we do now? How can we get this done now so these aren't necessary?
Yeah, when I talked about a 10-year period, I meant a 10-year period where PSPSs would get less every year, and at the end of 10 years, we'd be in a spot where we didn't need them.
Right.
I understand, we all understand, we're not going to do for 10 years what we've had to do this October. So what are we going to do? We are going to continue to inspect. We're going to harden the system, covered wire, tree wire, microgrids, resiliency zones. There's a number of things. And I think if we focus on those things harder, we can bring that time frame in, and we'll do so.
Is there a dollar figure? How much more would it take to get it done much more quickly? And is there a limit on the money that you can spend right now?
There's always a limit on the amount of money you can spend. We've spent a lot of money this year despite being in bankruptcy. I think a record amount of money on maintenance and these things. We'll just have to figure out going forward, budgets for next year, all those kind of things. So we still have the EOC open here. We're not thinking that far ahead quite yet.
My only other question is, there are a lot of families who are right on the edge in terms of their finances. People are having a hard time affording putting food on the plate. Yet here they are having to clear out their refrigerators. What do you say to people who just can't afford to restock their fridges and are losing all this food they've had in their households after these shutoffs?
So
No
these
answer.
events can be hard on people, really hard on people, and particularly people who have struggles anyways. And, there are community-based things you can do, food banks, these kind of things. But for us, the main thing is we didn't cause any fires. For these people, we didn't burn down any houses. The Kincaid's fire still under investigation. I got that. But, one of the things we did was give them the opportunity to actually refill their refrigerator because their house is still there.
That ain't the right answer, dude.
All right. Any other questions over here? Thanks. How many workers are currently inspecting versus in the field? How many overtime hours have they had to do, and how much does that cost PG&E?
I can only speak to the number of workers. We had north of 6,000 employees that were supporting this effort, both in the field and in the office. And we also had quite a few employees come over from other states in the form of mutual assistance to help us in the process of scaling that back now that we're returning to a normal configuration, if you will. So.
And given some of the threats made the last few weeks, are you doing additional training at all, or any other precautions?
I wouldn't say we're doing additional training. What we're doing is reinforcing the existing training that we already have as it relates to PSPS events and some of the hazards that our employees face, not only electrical hazards or falling, line of fire type of hazards from falling objects from above. One thing we're doing a good job at is sharing the events when they happen with employees. It's powerful to spread that word across the entire, fleet of employees. We have so many employees working in so many areas at the same time. An event could happen, in this area near Red Bluff, and other employees here in the North Bay or Sonoma County or Marin or whatever, right? So it's important for us to communicate those events in as close to real time as they occur. They come into the EOC once they're reported up into the safety officer that reports to me, and then we push a message out to all of our employees from the service center level out.
And the last question, is it just challenging hiring additional workers just to meet your needs?
So we have a lot of workers that we redeploy in these things, and we had over 800 people who come and join us. At the same time, we still have 4,500 tree workers in the field, and so we have found good people who are willing to come and do the work with us.
Okay, anybody else? All right, so anticipating that this is, we're going to reach our final customers this evening, early tomorrow morning. This will be our final briefing, so appreciate that. Our next phase to this operation will be conducting our after action reports that Bill and Mark talked about, so we'll be focused on those for the next many days, understanding how we can get better at operating and executing this. So thank you, appreciate your attentiveness, and we will hopefully not have to see you do the weather. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. I hope you heard that. But I'm still saying what Trump's saying. Clean your damn forest up. Clean the dead brush, the dead trees. Anything that's easy to start a heavy, healthy fire would work. I know it's California, and I know they have a drought. But I mean, there's got to be something they can do to keep them fires from spreading to 90 million friggin' people out there. I mean, it makes no sense to me. I've lived out there for years, or used to, rather, and I've seen what it looked like. As dry as that stuff is, they need some evergreens. I mean, evergreens grow in all kinds of weather. Cedar trees, bay trees, magnolia trees. Whatever stays green all year, that's what they need. They need to get rid of the dead grasses. I mean, I know there's a lot of land out there. I understand that. But the dead trees, if I could find that video where Trump said back then when he first started, California needs to clean up their act, get in the program of getting their shit together. Excuse my French, but he's right. These abandoned homes and stuff like that, if they're not livable or fixable, blow them down, clean them up, put something else there, put a shed there, make it into a tiny house. Get these people that live in homeless in a place they can call home. I mean, there's so much crap out there in California. I can't even believe anybody's still living there. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's insane. It's heartless. I mean, I'm not only just devastated over how people are living out there, but I'm just plain, I don't know what you call it. I don't know. It's just plain ridiculous. The friggin' Democrats get off their ass and do something instead of doing nothing and all talk and eating donuts and backstabbing people and taking money away from people and just doing what they're doing to people. California would be an awesome damn state. They could do something with that state. But hey, this is why I moved out, because it wasn't going nowhere. It didn't have nothing for me. And not that where I'm living at now has anything for me, but it's a hell of a lot better in California. At least I don't have to worry about it burning down every year or every few weeks, or worrying about am I going to be having to be asleep and something going through my back door unexpected, or these crazy damn police chases they got out there. I mean, it's plain ridiculous. But California, believe it or not, is the number one state of all states. It's the worst state to live in. And that is on a poll of the best states, worst states to live in. And California's top notch. Okay, so if that tells you anything, look it up. Check it out. So, needless to say, I thought I'd share this video with you. I know it's all dark and all that, but it's the way it had to be. So, I hope this helps, and I'll talk at you later. And have a good, safe weekend. Okay? We got to do bills Friday, which is tomorrow, and then let's see, what is it? The third. It's either the 3rd or the 6th. I forget which one. He's got to go to Indianapolis to go get his glasses, which I'm going to hate that ride, but oh well, it'll get us out of town for a while. That's about a 45 to an hour drive up one way. So after that, we'll be home for the rest of the week until the 3rd Wednesday of the month, and then we'll go and do bills again, and then we'll be home for the rest of the month until the 1st, and then that's just the way life is. So anyway, let me stop rambling here, and I'm going to kill this off, and keep in touch. That's all I know. Like I said, I thought I'd run this by you and let you hear what I found, and I don't know if you've heard it or not, or seen it or not, or whatever, but if you have it, you've heard it. Maybe you can find it somewhere later or on the video or something, but at least you heard what I had. Let me turn this loose and get my butt to bed because it's already 12 o'clock and I got to go do bills tomorrow. Fun. Talk at you later. Take care. Have fun. Happy Halloween. Bye.